Welcome and thank you for joining today's webinar, Protect Your Paid Advertising Spend Against Ad Fraud and Invalid Traffic, presented by TrafficGuard and Search Engine Land. Before we begin, if you have any audio issues, click the audio icon on your screen to enable your audio. If you have any viewing issues, you can use the Q&A section at any time to communicate with us. You can send questions directly to the speaker about his presentation at any time. Without further ado, let's get to the presentation. Joining us today is Adam French, TrafficGuard's Regional Vice President of Europe, Middle East, and Africa. Welcome, Adam. I'll turn things over to you.
Thank you very much, Cynthia. Thank you for the brief introduction. As Cynthia says, my name's Adam French. I am the Commercial VP for TrafficGuard for Europe, Middle East, and Africa. I am, I would say, an industry veteran with some 20 years experience, and I've worked on both the supply side and also the demand side of the digital advertising industry. And I've worked for some large corporates like Microsoft and Nokia, right the way down to sort of small scale-ups and startups that are operating in the data space and also the fraud prevention space across the sort of the bleeding edge of the ad tech industry. And today, what I'd like to do is take you on a sort of a brief journey, telling you about fraud and invalid traffic, how it might be affecting your paid marketing channels, and also what you can do about it. So yes, that's me in a nutshell, and I'll go on to the next slide and take you through some numbers. According to eMarketer, the global digital advertising market is worth around about $455 billion annually. And if you go and talk to Adobe, 28% of digital traffic is non-human. So if you do the numbers with those two figures, this equates to around about 127 billion lost to non-human traffic annually. Then if you talk to Nielsen, they will say that for every ad dollar that you spend, you get back an average of 2.87 times on return. So as an aggregate, that's getting up to close to 400 billion in lost revenue annually, $400 billion in lost revenue annually through invalid traffic and ad fraud. Those to me are absolutely staggering numbers, and they stagger me every single time that I present them in these decks. The magnitude of the problem is absolutely huge, and one that's probably not recognized by the industry or has not been recognized enough by the industry up to this point. Just to put some other context around it, so those of you that follow capital markets, businesses will usually have a market cap of around about 5 to 10% of the revenue they bring in every year. 5 to 10 times the revenue they bring in every year. And this means that the capital erosion from invalid traffic across businesses globally annually is anything between 1.8 to 3.6 trillion dollars. Those numbers are absolutely huge. And it's one of the reasons why TrafficGuard as a business was set up to basically shine a light on this and help companies basically claw back some of that money. So just to give you a brief introduction whilst we're on the extensive introductions on TrafficGuard as a business. We are an Australian company and we're publicly listed on the ASX in Australia. We think it's very important to be a listed business when you're dealing with the clients that we're dealing with and also the types of data that we're dealing with. So that is why we're listed on the ASX. We've been going roughly 5 years now. We've invested over $40 million into our tech. We operate in every single paid marketing channel, detecting and preventing fraud and invalid traffic. We are an official Google Cloud verification partner and a Google Ads Premier partner as well. So we work very closely with Google on the search side of things. We're the only verification partner listed globally in the Google Cloud Marketplace, again, which is a testament to our technology and our partnership with Google. And in short, we detect and prevent and report on digital ad fraud before it hits your advertising budget. We are a team of experts based all over the world. So I run the EMEA. We have headquarters in Perth in Western Australia. We have a commercial team that works out of Southeast Asia in Singapore and one in Latin America as well. And here is just a list of some of the clients and partners that we work with. We work with over 3,000 advertisers and partners globally. And we have some really large enterprise clients. Clients like William Hill, Ladbrokes, Gojek, Disney, Deezer, the global streaming app, to name just a few. And they're all very large spenders in digital advertising across multiple channels. We also have supply side partners as well, such as MMPs, affiliate platforms, and performance networks that we also integrate with, so that we have a full funnel view of everything that's going on from a fraud and invalid traffic standpoint. So yeah, I just want to spend a little bit of time going through the definition of invalid traffic. And Google and the Media Ratings Council have a very, very similar definition of invalid traffic. And invalid traffic is any activity that doesn't come from a real user with genuine interest. And this can include accidental clicks caused by intrusive ads, fraudulent clicking by competing advertisers, and also advertising bots, and even more. So what are the implications of this invalid traffic across your paid marketing channels? And there's several implications. The first, and probably the most important, is lost revenue. If you're missing out on additional valid users, you're missing out on potential revenue opportunities. The second thing following on from this is polluted audiences. So marketers such as yourself frequently target lists that are fit for their ideal customer profile. But if that list is polluted with invalid users, you're wasting resources by going after those, and they cannot work with you in a legitimate way. And leading on from this, it leads on to skewed optimization. So when users convert, many advertising and targeting platforms will optimize towards those types of users. And unfortunately, sometimes the users that deliver the most clicks and the highest volumes are actually bots or invalid traffic. So if the invalid traffic is not examined, your campaigns automatically bring in more of these types of users because they're taking action, but they're not legitimate and they can't convert because they're not real customers. And then leading on from the skewed optimization, you then get skewed analytics as well. And your business decisions are often basically based on those analytics. So if the data is infected with invalid traffic, then your decisions following that basically can impact you in a negative way as well. So by removing that invalid traffic, you're unskewing your analytics and you're operating under a more effective business intelligence model. And the last point on this is around invalid leads. So whilst those invalid users cannot be legitimate customers, they certainly can fill in forms, request demos, download reports. And because of this data is often passed on to your sales teams, and the sales teams see these actions and spend valuable time trying to convert these leads into customers. But because it's invalid traffic and fraud coming through and they're not real customers, they're never going to convert. So again, it has a knock-on effect to other departments in your business in trying to basically close those sales off. So invalid traffic is basically split into two different categories. The first category is general invalid traffic. And general invalid traffic is basically the simple stuff that you can identify through routine means of filtration. For example, it's web crawlers and general simple stuff that's been around for a while. The second part, or the second type of invalid traffic, is sophisticated invalid traffic. And this is, again, where TrafficGuard excels. It's identified through advanced analytics and significant human intervention. And the TrafficGuard platform has basically been set up to detect this type of invalid traffic by using machine learning and algorithms. An example of this would be identifying bots driving app installs through click-to-install time, things like that. So there's all sorts of different criteria that TrafficGuard are looking at on a campaign-by-campaign basis and a client-by-client basis to detect and prevent this sophisticated invalid traffic basically coming through your marketing channels. This slide just gives you a view of some of the sophisticated invalid traffic that we have coming through or that we see across our clients' campaigns. Again, many of these you'll be familiar with, some of them you won't be familiar with. If you were to go on to the TrafficGuard website, there's a glossary of all of these different types of invalid traffic, giving you a full explanation of what each one is. So go and check that out if you're interested. So next, I just want to go into some insights of basically what we see across our TrafficGuard clients. Typically, when we start working with a client across our 3,000 customers, there's typical benchmarks that we see across different paid marketing channels. On average, we see around 20% invalid traffic across Google PPC activity. And this means you're paying for clicks that you shouldn't be and wasting advertising budget on activity that's never going to provide a positive business outcome. For app installs or app campaigns, we typically verify and prevent around about 50% previously undetected fraud and invalid traffic across that channel. And by stopping those invalid installs of apps, we subsequently prevent around about 20 to 40% misattribution caused by the invalid traffic. And a single conversion attributed to the wrong publisher will inflate the value of that source by not just one conversion, but all the subsequent events as well that convert of that converted user. And this leads marketers such as yourselves to underinvest in the channels that deliver the best results, and it restricts your return on investment. How do companies like TrafficGuard prevent fraud and invalid traffic? And there are basically two ways that fraud and invalid traffic can be prevented. The first way that invalid traffic can be prevented is on what's called a pre-bid basis. And this dynamically updates the supply source exclusion lists, preventing clients from bidding on paid ads in real time if we deem that user is invalid. And we do this, and companies like TrafficGuard do this across search channels and then also across the DSPs on performance buys display. The second way that you can basically detect and prevent IVT is at an attribution level. And this is by changing the attribution journey in real time and ensuring that only valid traffic and real users are attributed for. And again, companies like TrafficGuard do this across mobile app campaigns and then also across the affiliate advertising channels as well from a performance marketing standpoint. So those are the two key ways that we do it. And lots of players out there will do it one way or the other. TrafficGuard is slightly different in that we do it both. So we're a full funnel solution. When we address invalid traffic as a concept, we don't simply remove those invalid users, but also in many cases we replace them with valid ones. So again, increasing your ROI. And by optimizing your customer acquisition towards real users, you're filling your funnel with more qualified visitors and ultimately more qualified leads. Most businesses have KPIs for lead generation, customer acquisition, or revenue, but not invalid traffic, even though these things directly impact your ROI. And invalid traffic is not just a set and forget problem. Again, there's a lot of players out there that have black box technologies and will plug you in and tell you that you've got fraud and remove it. But through identifying bots and stuff, there's some of this that can be automated, but not all of it. So there's a big opportunity to optimize based on real-time transparent data and using the right suppliers to grow and scale and stop misattribution and the consequences of it. So through invalid protection from a provider like TrafficGuard, you're improving your ad budget return on investment beyond what you thought was possible. So lastly, I just wanted to take you through a few case studies and real world clients that we have. And there's basically three case studies I want to take you through. The first one is a case study around PPC. And we had an existing customer, it was a sports betting customer in Europe, that had customers repeatedly Googling the brand term and using PPC ads as a front door to their website. And TrafficGuard as a solution detects and prevents this by dynamically updating the exclusion list, as I've alluded to before, and allows partners to set the threshold for the number of times that a user will basically be able to click on those paid keywords if they're a returning user. And in sports betting in Europe, it's quite a high cost per click rate. It was $2.5 per click. And on average, we were seeing 75,000 clicks per month or 900,000 per year that was basically wasted on returning users clicking on paid search ads. And this equates to over $2 million in saved ad budget from this particular campaign or from this particular client basically using us to tackle this problem for them, which is a huge amount of money to lose over a year and to gain back using a product like TrafficGuard. The second case study is around a global streaming app, one of our largest clients. And it basically had an affiliate partner program. And the affiliate partner program has rules, and they prohibited their affiliate partners from bidding on specific brand terms in their paid search campaigns. They had a suspicion that this was being abused by affiliates and they were masking these activities, but they had absolutely no way to check. And again, by using TrafficGuard to basically detect and prevent this fraud coming through this channel, they basically found out that 25% of their affiliate traffic should have been removed for being invalid. And again, this was valued at $20,000 per month. And in going in, we also uncovered other fraud from other affiliate channels and extended the scope of their protection so that all of their affiliate partners were basically playing by the rules and didn't get attributed for undeserved commission. The third case study I just wanted to take you through, again, was around an e-commerce app. And this is an e-commerce app in Southeast Asia. And it was a fashion retailer that used us to make sure that their publisher partners were sending genuine traffic and maximizing the value of their investment. We detected and prevented invalid traffic by changing the attribution journey on their app download campaigns to in real time, ensuring that only real users were going through to their measurement platform for attribution. And this means that the advertiser could refine their publisher partners, knowing that they could optimize using real and clean data and optimizing out the fraudulent traffic from those performance partners. And again, when we went in and audited it, we found that 57% of the clicks were invalid, which led to 40% invalid installs, 36% invalid post-attribution events. So we validated that, and 63% more invalidated installs than using the fraud detection software that the MMP provided. So again, comprehensive, forensic, and the amount of data that basically the client has to optimize on is unparalleled, or was unparalleled. So hopefully that's given you a sort of a brief overview of fraud, the magnitude of it. Invalid traffic is a global problem, and it's costing advertisers billions and billions of dollars a year in undetected and lost revenue. And a combination of detection and prevention is needed to mitigate. So it's it's not, as I said, just a set and leave thing. There is a huge amount that needs to be done on a manual basis, to basically use that data to improve your paid marketing channels. And CMOs basically need to tackle this problem first before using the real data to base their optimization strategies around. Again, the data is only as good as what's going in and you're optimizing on. And if there is fraud and invalid traffic within those channels that's going undetected, it's always going to skew the data and the decisions that you're making to optimize your campaigns. So I know that there's been some questions that have been sent through on the presentation as I've gone through it. And these have basically kind of been added. And the first question comes from Andre. So thank you very much, Andre, for your question. And it is basically, how does TrafficGuard's offering differ from the likes of Moat, Double Verify, and IAS? So there's a huge amount of suppliers out there that provide the market with some sort of surface level fraud detection and prevention. All of them have different functionality, all of them do it a slightly different way to the other, and all of them have their own strengths and weaknesses. Some of them work at impression level on static exclusion lists. Some of them work at post-attribution level and then validate based on historical data. The difference, I think, between these players and TrafficGuard is that TrafficGuard is a full funnel solution. And only sophisticated fraud detection and prevention can happen when you have a full view of the funnel. So we integrate at the click level, and we integrate all the way through the funnel to the conversion level as well. So we have a view of the entire funnel. And what this allows us to do as a business is have that full view and basically be a lot more accurate in terms of detecting and preventing that fraud and IVD coming through. Because by verifying the engagements throughout that full funnel, our pre-bid optimization helps protect your campaigns. And there is sophisticated or increasingly sophisticated invalid traffic coming through these channels. It's a completely moving feast. And again, having that full funnel view gives us the best chance of detecting and preventing that fraud on the behalf of our customers. The second question that came through, and this is from Desiree. Thank you very much, Desiree. And it is, if this is a problem, or if this problem is so sizable, how come NOR is not known about it? I think many marketers know that there's a problem, and they will fall victim of some sort of fraud and IVT across their paid marketing channels. The main issue here, I think, is that until recently, the industry hasn't shone a light on ad fraud, as not many players know the magnitude of the problem or how to solve it. I think the numbers I highlighted earlier on at the beginning of my talk lay bare how big, or what the magnitude of what this issue is. And companies like TrafficGuard are basically making our life's work, not only to prevent the fraud and IVT, decreasing your ROI, but also educating the wider digital marketing community on an issue that's growing exponentially month on month and also year on year. And if left unchecked, this problem's only going to get bigger and grow and grow and grow. So that's the reason why TrafficGuard was built, the reason why we set up as a company, and the reason why we help advertisers on a daily basis. The last question I think had come through doesn't have a name to it, but thank you very much to whoever sent this through. And it is, how do I know that I have ad fraud in my campaigns, and are there any signs? Yeah, as a general rule of thumb, sort of diminishing returns or diminishing return on ad spend or return on investment are a sure sign that you probably need to investigate whether you've got fraud and IVT across your marketing campaigns. However, and this is the thing we see day in, day out with clients and potential clients that we're working with, many clients are adamant that they don't have a fraud or invalid traffic problem. Mainly, either they don't want to see it, or it sort of it looks bad on them as a marketing function that there may be fraud and invalid traffic coming through those channels. At the end of the day, it's often the magnitude of the problem that's underestimated. And levels of fraud vary from vertical to vertical, client to client, and also from campaign to campaign. So we have specific verticals that we work across, and some of them have a much larger problem than others. But we don't have any vertical that we work across that doesn't have a problem with fraud and invalid traffic. Probably the easiest way, or the easiest suggestion I can give to people to find out if they do have an issue, is to use a company like TrafficGuard to carry out an audit on your paid marketing channels. And an audit will allow you to see firsthand what levels of fraud and invalid traffic you have affecting you, and also give you detailed analysis of where it's coming from, how much money you may be wasting on a monthly basis across those different paid marketing channels, and also give you a detailed plan as to how you can tackle that head on by partnering with a company like TrafficGuard. And just as a point to note, TrafficGuard carry out these audits for free for our potential clients. We do a 2-week audit for every single client to basically detect the level of fraud and invalid traffic that's coming through the paid marketing channels that you operate in. So that's all the questions I had through, and I hope you enjoyed the presentation. Thank you very much for listening. If there's any other questions that people think of, please feel free to pass them through, and we will get back to you and answer them offline. But thank you very much for your time, and I'll hand back over to Cynthia. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Adam, for this engaging presentation. If we didn't get to your question, we will be sure to pass it along to TrafficGuard. On behalf of Search Engine Land, I want to thank everyone in our audience for attending today's webinar. We hope you join us again soon.